beautiful good morning to all you beautiful people. I hope you are all doing absolutely phenomenal and that your day has started off with a bang. Well, of course it started off with a bang. You're here on Drive with us. No better way to start your day, I suppose. Nothing beats a early morning game drive in the bush. It's currently 10 to 6, folks, and it's cloudy and overcast, so today's a really good day to try and get cats on the move, as well as, potentially leopards on a territorial patrol hunting, maybe. This weather's perfect because the wind picks up, the animals tend to get quite confused, and it makes hunting for the predators easier because their scents all swirl about. It's hard for the prey to tell which direction the predator is coming from. So cats definitely take full advantage of this cooler, windier weather. But nonetheless, also really nice morning. Sometimes like a bit of a cooler morning. It is slowly creeping into the heart of summer though. So to have a day as cold as today, you can kind of judge how it took us a bit by surprise as well. The fact I'm wearing a beanie right now says it all. It was a bit frostier than I thought it was going to be when I woke up. But as you can see, it's getting super green, super lush. Everything, all the new life is coming through. Animals are enjoying the new shoots and the new rich nutrients, vegetation. So I'm sure the herbivores are having the time of their lives. But there's no real plan for this morning. I think what we're going to do is we're going to head straight to Sescon Crypt, see if the elephants haven't been around there. And I'm thinking we can search a bit for the elephants and then also see if we can't find the lion pride either. Now, the male lions were headed south last night. Oh, watered popcorn. Some birds that aren't happy either. Now, buttered popcorn, folks, is normally a dead giveaway for a leopard. And there's our leopard tracks, Basil. How cool is that, folks? That's quite wicked. So he's actually walked all the way along here, keeping to the inner of the road. These tracks have been rained on, so they're not the freshest. But the fact that we can still smell his urine means they're not too old. But look at how perfect these tracks are. Now, the main reason you can tell it's a leopard and not a female lion is the size of the track. So if you look at my hand's a lot bigger than this track here. However, this is the front pad and this is the back pad. Now, another reason you can tell it's not a lion is just because of how oblong the track itself is. It's more circle than elongated like a lion track is. As well as the back pad is quite squished in. If this was a lion, this back pad would be spread out a lot wider. It would come down like that. Whereas here with the leopard, you can see these three little edges are quite tightly compacted at the back there, but that is so cool. We are still quite far behind this, so I'm not even gonna try and track this animal. I can see there's rain droplets on top of the track, which means it was before the rains, and the rains came through at about 2 a.m. this morning, so it was before that. But nonetheless, because it has rained, you never know, he could be on his territorial bout at the moment. So leopard going this way, leopard going that way, you never know. Sands, they're not the freshest, but I've just got tracks of a male leopard headed south along Seskonpot State towards Beerstip Junction. Just letting Sandy, one of the homeowners, know about the leopard tracks.
Cheetahs on Hyena. They are going along the eastern fence line of Hyena in a westerly direction.
So unfortunately we won't be seeing cheetah today, folks, but the main reason I switched that vehicle off for a second there was...
Sorry, in a northerly direction, northwesterly direction.
The reason I stopped the vehicle there was because they originally, before that other lady gave an update. Someone said the male lions are vocalizing now. So let's try and figure out where that vocalizing was coming from. Station that just heard the lion audio, where would you put that audio coming from? Copy that, thanks. Just south of Porfada Dam. So they're probably towards the western side of the reserve, which might be nice for a change to go investigate for a bit. It's quite open down that side. The game viewing is not the best per se, but that's where we've had a lot of luck with leopard in the past. But let's see how the day goes. I've also got fresh rhino tracks with calf tracks here. So a baby and mom have walked down this road recently. So I think let's just play it by ear and see where the bush takes us this morning. But first mission still at hand. Head straight to Seskonkrip and see if the elephants didn't come have a drink there. And then we will make a game plan from there. What a beautiful, beautiful morning there. All the birds chirping. And what we call a variety of different birds calling at the same time is called a bird party. And if you switch off and sit for a bit, you can hear the most wonderful calls. And eventually the shyer birds that are calling, that tend to hide in the thickets, sometimes will finally emerge and give you the sighting you've always dreamed of. I had one of those recently with a gorgeous bush shark. I actually managed to get it on camera, which for me was a tick off the bucket list. A, just seeing a fully matured male gorgeous bush shark with that bright crimson red chest. It's something most birders and guides dream about. So I've seen two previously, but the first one was a juvenile, so it didn't have any red. The second was, oh, there's an elephant. There's an elephant, folks. Look at that. Now I wonder where the best place to put basil would be. Put basil here. Stations, I've got one elephant bull slowly mobile south along Seskamp State, 200 meters south of Seskamp Junction. What an awesome way to start the morning. Now, I will reposition in a second. I just want to see if he keeps on going that direction or if he's going to go further into the block. But at the moment, he's static feeding. Also, I'm just trying to listen out for the herd. You don't hear anything, eh? So he didn't move too far at all. He was actually near this area last night. So I'm quite surprised that he didn't move too far off. How's that? Back? Okay. Look at that, everybody. A big, huge, ginormous bull elephant. Look at the size and girth of that trunk, folks. Almost up to 40,000 individual muscles in that trunk, allowing it to be so prehensile. Almost use it as a hand, if you will. Now, oftentimes you'll see elephants grab a clump of grass and then actually use their toes to kind of cut it off at the roots like a weed whacker, which I found quite interesting the other day. I read that. Uh-oh. He's going into the thick stuff. Stations this elephant bull is slowly headed east into the block east of Seskamp State. Oh, he's going to the bathroom. All right, well, what a way to start the morning. It would be nice if he turned around or gave us a bit more of a showdown. By showdown, I mean his face, not his other pretty side. But I think if he's here, it means the herd can't be too far off. He tends to follow the herd. So let's continue to Seskamp Crip, sorry, and see if the other elephants didn't go there, because then we can get a general direction on which way the herd went, and hopefully we can find them with the other two elephant bulls. But that's awesome. What a way to start the morning. Elephant bull, get in. Some lovely bird calls this morning. Some bird calls I'm hearing that I'm not even sure of what they are. Can hear some dark-capped bulls, some somber green bulls. Occasionally the infamous Pete Mayfro, the red-chested cuckoo.
Do you know if any other leadwood stations on Blowbank?
Negative.
Copy, guys.
So there's still rhino tracks headed south, and I actually think, oh no, I see a car. I was about to say, I think I see a rhino up ahead in the road, but it's just a car. So anticlimactic. Now, also, this morning, we need to get another ornament for the tree. It's not even a car, folks, it's just a tree knocked over in the road. Now, as you can see, there's a tree here as well in front of us. So the elephants did come through this way. That's a definite surety. And you can tell it's quite fresh. If you look at those leaves, they're not too droopy as of yet, and they're still lush and green, Whereas if you look at these on the right, that tree's been dead for a while. You can see those leaves slowly drooping, looking all dry, not green and lush. So the elephants, considering the other half of the tree, I'd say this is quite fresh. And there's a tree a bit further up that's also been knocked over. Elephants definitely were here and busy. Oh, there's 2 trees knocked over, one on either side of the road. Also see if we can't maybe crack a spotted eagle owl this morning. That would be quite cool. But yeah, look at this. A perfectly good milkberry tree. Is it? No, it's a false marula. Perfectly good false marula, just tarnished like that. And a sweet thorn acacia. Sure. Love how they just push it over and do absolutely nothing with it. Often ellies will push over trees to get to the roots, because that's where all the nutritious stuff is, all the energy and food going to the leaves and coming from the leaves. So it's definitely a highway and a quick access point to the most nutritious part of the tree. There's lion tracks here, fresh lion tracks.
91 Bravo, Edward Station number 1.
These are good, folks. These are real good. The only reason they're real good there, though, is because the substrate's quite soft. But when you get onto this firmer substrate, you can barely make out the lion tracks. This is where you're going to have to bear with me if we do end up tracking these lions. Seeing their tracks is so hard. You can barely see it with the naked eye. And it doesn't also help that we don't really have much sun. But who knows, maybe that other station said they were south of Pofadder but misplaced the call. You never know. It wouldn't surprise me if we bumped into lions here either. Right, so nothing at the crib. But this is where we need to be clever. I'm going to park off here. Oh, where's a nice place to park off so Basil can show you all the wonderful birds as well. Where do you think's best? Back a bit. Just tell me when's good for you. Maybe here by the crib. Alrighty, I'm gonna just quickly hop out and have a look and see if I can't see where these lions went. Just figure out a general direction. Every now and then I see a partial track here. It's important not to get it confused with tire tread though. Ooh, the tracks veer off here. They go this direction. Just gonna follow them real quick, see. I wonder where said lions went. Their tracks veered off for a second, but I lost them quite soon after that. And the reason he probably veered off, I'm sure they carry on straight along the road, but the reason he probably veered off was to scent mark that lovely green bushy raisin bush. So we'll keep going straight for now, and then we'll do some more investigating. Alrighty, onwards. I don't see tracks of the elephants anywhere, so that's kind of taken top priority spot as the lions, because we've still got these fresh tracks. I don't know if Basil is able to show you the tracks. See them there? There we go. Still got those lion tracks, and they're still headed north. But what you'll notice is I'm going to have to get out quite frequently just because of how how hard this substrate is, and have an actual close, proper look. But there's still tracks here for now. There's a nice set to show you again. Look at that, everybody. We're hot on the tail here. Who knows, hopefully we can catch up to them if they haven't moved off too far. Stations, I've got tracks of what looks like to be the 2 male lions headed north along Seskampat Noord from the crypt. Seemed to be on a march last night.
Okay, copy. South of Puffer on Puffer track, shut it down track, and no sign of them here, so are you going to follow up here?
A firm sounds, I'm following those tracks as we speak. I don't know if you just...
All of your mobile on Kaya, the 2 male lions plus the rhino bull. I actually see the sunspot on the southern fence line of Kaya.
What? So just to confirm, the 2 male lions on Kaya. Okay, well, there goes our mission at tracking lions, folks. They've unfortunately moved already onto a part of the reserve we can't go to. And those Impala aren't sticking around for us. So we shall continue regardless. Well, you know, it's always exciting seeing a fresh track like that and being able to kind of follow them, kind of try and get a glimpse into the mind of a lion. Always nice to try and do. One thing that my mentor said to me was always try and think like the animal you're tracking. So if I was a lion, why would I veer off the road? Either because I've picked up the scent of something, or to scent mark. They go off the road, put their bums against a bushy tree like so, and spray urine and mark their territory essentially. So always got to kind of think like the animal you're tracking, which can sometimes be very difficult. So I think our best mission at hand now is to carry on looking for those elephants. These lion tracks looked so good. So good. There wasn't even rain droplets on them, which means they must have moved first thing this morning. But it doesn't look like the cloud cover's giving up either. It looks like it's staying rather ominous. Which I'm not complaining, because, I mean, sun comes out quite early nowadays, and, you know, temperatures get a lot hotter a lot quicker. I mean, you blink and it's already 28 degrees at 6 o'clock in the morning, sometimes. Not always. Was really hoping we can find a rhino or two. But so even rhinos now after the rain, especially bull rhinos, will go about scent marking as well. All territorial animals essentially will be doing that, especially after rain. I wonder where the elephants went there. You said you think the deep slurts, eh? Huh? Okay. Oh, we've got some more Impala. I'm gonna go around and see if we can't get a better view of them. Headed into some rather thick bush there. Lovely little open patch here. Come on, Impala. Oh, there we go. Oh, wow, she's super pregnant. There's a yearling. That's probably a lamb from last year. And there's a big sexually mature ram running past at the back. And of course now that I've turned the vehicle this way, they headed in the opposite direction. It's typical Murphy's Law. What I'll try and do is just poke my nose in here. There we go. Look at those lovely Impala. How nice is that contrast of the Impala's coats with the green of the new growth. That's epic. Now you'll see what a proper Impala ram looks like, everybody. Look at the size of those horns. And you can see their coat looks like it's puffed up and a bit darker than usual. That's not uncommon. So that is a practice that animals do called piloerection. And what piloerection is, basically, is the equivalent of us and goosebumps. Just watch your head, Basil. It's basically the equivalent of us with goosebumps. So a small thin layer of air gets trapped in between their coats and their skin, and through their body heat it starts to insulate and warm up, essentially acting like a bit of a wetsuit if you were to go scuba diving, if you will.
We've got one white rhino bull on the southern fence of Kenya, and that is with two vehicles in lock at the moment.
So we're now headed towards the eastern part of the reserve. in hopes to potentially find a rhino, and who knows, maybe the elephants moved in this direction as well.
Good morning, Kingfisher. Pull up mobile Kaya. Then up please.
Morning, Leopard. Male lions are east of the Sun Strait along the southern fence line of Kaya. There's also a white rhino in that same location.
Seems like everything's being found on the part of the reserve we can't go to this morning. It's Murphy's Law, isn't it? Sometimes it just happens like that, folks. I mean, we got quite lucky with that elephant bull, but I think what we'll do, if we don't come right at Lowveld of South Africa with a rhino, we'll head back towards Seskant and head towards the deep slurt and see if we can't pick up anything on those ellies.
So you had located it?
That's affirmative.
Okay, copy.
Sorry, I had my radio down. Did lovers find the elephants?
The 2 male cheetahs.
Copy, thanks. Calling in those 2 male cheetahs again that we can't go to, unfortunately. But it does prove to you all that there is life on this reserve. It's just whether it chooses to be on this side or that side of the reserve that is uncontrollable. But it's always nice just driving around the bush in the mornings. Something oddly satisfying about it.
From yesterday?
Negative, sans the last known location that I know of was the 3 lionesses on the Raptors fence line in that little sodic area just near the fence line on Leadwood.
Okay, copy, thanks.
So you can also see that you communicate quite a bit through the radio, and a radio is a very important tool for us as guides. To control sightings, to make sure animals aren't in danger or, you know, get put under stress, as well as it does help us, you know, everyone working together to find the animals. It does also help us find the animals and create plans in our head of how we're going to go about drive. This morning when I went mobile, there was 1 station out. And the only update they gave me was I'm the 2nd vehicle out. So from the get-go, it was like, okay, it's going to be a morning of working, essentially. I don't classify my job as working, but working essentially for sightings. So like I said, that's why we're now headed in this direction towards Lowveld of South Africa in hopes of finding a rhino. But you never know, there may not be a rhino. So we shall go investigate. And if we don't come right there, like I mentioned, we'll head back towards where we saw that elephant bull and see if we can't pick up any further signs of the herd. Oh, what bird is that? Ah! Actually, I haven't seen one of these in a while. They're not rare. Just don't know why I haven't seen one in so long. Oh, this one is rare. That, folks, is a southern grey hornbill. Grey-billed hornbill. No, it's not. Is it? It's either that or it's a juvenile trumpeter hornbill. Let me just check my app real quick. No, no, I'm bang on the money there. It's a beautiful, beautiful African grey hornbill. And they've got just a little tint of red at the tip of their beak there. Wow. That was super cool. Super, super cool. Haven't seen one of those birds in a long time. Often called the wailing child because their call is like a screaming child. Let me see if I can play it for you. You picking it up? You can hear the wailing child, but that is definitely not a call I tend to forget, but it didn't call it when I saw it, so at first I thought it was a southern red-billed hornbill. But really, really nice treat. Oh, look at all this new growth, folks, this greenery. Soon it's going to be impossible to see into the bush. I mean, it already technically kind of is impossible to see into the bush. If nothing's really on the road, it's kind of hard to get to it or see it. To be quite frank. But you know us, we're always up for the challenge. Maybe we should also go into the deep slurge. Like Basil said, and see if the ellies aren't that side as well. So we're basically going to do one big, gigantic loop. Did you smell death? I thought I smelled the rotting smell of carrion for a second, everybody. You know, it's potentially a leopard carcass. Or another predator's carcass. Jackal, serval, caracal, civet, honey badger. You know, all these animals will investigate a carcass. You can hear that wind slowly starting to pick up, and that sky's looking more and more ominous by the second. So I'm hoping it lasts till the end of drive. No, it will last. It will hold until we finish drive. And then it can rain all at once. It can rain heavenly. So we're nearly near the dam. Hoping there might be some water birds nearby as well, some waders. Things like your grey heron, your three-banded plover, spotted and water thickneys, woolly-necked storks, marabou storks, saddle-billed storks, you name it, we've got it. How often do we see them? Not all too often. However, when we get to see them, it's pretty amazing. Oh, what ran off there? Something just darted off into the bush here. Huh. Saw something small just dash across the road. So brief though, I couldn't tell you what it was if I tried. It's the beautiful call of a rattling testicular.
I'm leaving the lot of the female sit-outs. All the contractors,
Oh, all the spider webs again.
road and open up.
Alrighty folks, just around the corner and we'll be at the dam. The dam we're headed to is Lowveld Dam. Now ironically translated into Afrikaans is Blue Wildebeest Dam. And I say ironically because I've never seen a wildebeest here, to be totally honest with you. I've seen rhino, zebra, giraffe, Impala, elephant, lion, but leopard even, but no wildebeest. Now it is getting close to that calving season as well, so we really should try and be the first to find a wildebeest calf. That would be oddly awesome. What am I saying oddly? It would just be fantastic. Just checking to see if any predator walked past here. I've picked up these tracks here, but they also look like leopard, but the weird thing is, I don't know if you can see this, sorry Basil. I'm getting confused, I know what it is now. It was confusing me at first, so here's the track. I originally thought this was leopard, but I now know what it is. The distinguishing factor that gave it away for me was you can actually see toenails. Now, true cats like our leopard and our lion have retractable claws. So when they put their pad down, their claws stay hidden. They only bring them out when they need them, aka for hunting. And that's to keep them as sharp as possible. That's why you see cats often clawing trees. Now that for me was the dead giveaway that it's not a leopard. And another way you can tell it's not a leopard, if you look at this back pad, there's only two lobes. Here's the first and here's the second. But here's my hand, right? Let me do this. Here's my hand. You see this back pad? It's at an angle. It's almost a 45-degree angle. So that basically tells me two lobes, it's a dog or a hyena. And the claws at the front tell me that it's a hyena. Also just due to the sheer size of said track is how I can tell it's a hyena. From the looks of it, it could even be a brown hyena because that, because that back track was just so much smaller. Spotted hyena, the tracks tend to be roughly similar size. whereas the hind track of a brown hyena is a lot smaller than that of its front paw. Spider webs for breakfast. Gotta love it, eh? Got to love it. Basil, is that just an Impala in the corner there? Looks like a Dacre. A Dacre. The common Dacre. We actually get 3 species of Dacre on this reserve, and they're all part of what's known as the dwarf antelope group. So we've got your common Dacre, aka the grey Dacre. Probably your biggest of the 3 we get here. And then you don't get them on this reserve, but we also get blue Dacre. They occur in more coastal forest riverine systems, and they are extremely tiny. Uh-oh, is that rain? I'm feeling mist rain on my face. Uh-oh. Well, hopefully it holds off. But, what was I saying now? Ah, thank you, the blue Dacre. So that's the smallest species of Dacre we get in South Africa. Also, probably one of the more rarer species. And then we do occasionally get them on Leadwood side. We get a red Dacre, which isn't as small as a blue Dacre, but isn't as big as a grey or common Dacre. So it's technically the in-betweener, if you will. Just thought, let's pop into this open section. We did see a jackal here the other day, so I just thought, let me quickly, before we carry on up that road, just quickly come investigate. But to no prevail. That's all right. We'll keep headed back south and go see if we can't have any better luck with those ellies. The birds are super active for a day where it's rather cold and frosty. They're normally the first ones to go hide off. But it is rather nippy, folks. What is the temperature? Oh, that's the grey hornbill again. Just was testing your knowledge there. It's a whopping 16 degrees Celsius. Holy cow. It be fresh. It be really, really fresh. And now I can feel mist rain.
Love it, put your foot.
Go ahead, over.
We have had a quick visual of my daughter here by Rietspruit River, by the crossing, Hyena crossing.
You mean the Impala?
Yes, Hyena, at the Rietspruit River, they are moving quite fast, so we're trying to relocate, but we haven't relocated yet.
It's a quick visual of a male lion or the rhino.
Male lion.
Aha. Those lines are
Which
actually,
direction are they moving?
say south.
They were moving in a northern direction.
Ish. That means they're getting
Copy that, yeah, I'm making my way that side.
further and further into Kaya.
They are on the western side of the...
They headed even further into Kaya, so there might be a day or two before we get to see them.
Yeah, I'll be there in the next 5 minutes.
However, the pride has not been found, so the pride still very well could be on Blowbunk. The dynamics of the lines, like I mentioned on last drive as well, it's just they're all over the place at the moment, it seems. The 2 males are together one day, and then the next they're not. The 5 females are together all the time, and then they're not. You'll have one of them disappear, and then another one disappears, and then you're left with 3. So I don't know what exactly is cracking with our lion population, but it seems to be a bit all over the place at the moment. Which is always interesting to kind of witness and observe. But at the same time, it kind of makes them a bit less predictable. And wild animals, I say predictable, wild animals are predictable to a certain extent. Like, if you understand their behavior, you know roughly if an elephant's going to charge you or not, type thing. But with dynamics like this changing, you know, the 2 males could be fighting over dominance lately, so you never know. And it also just makes it harder because they may switch up their normal routes that they take with all of them as a whole pride. So they might move in different directions than they often use. So that's what I mean by predictable. Other than that, a wild animal is very unpredictable. Oh boy. Don't know if the camera lens is feeling it yet, but I'm having a nice shower this morning. Come on, rhinos. Where are you? Seems like a rhino is the hardest thing to find lately on this reserve. Well, that and leopard, of course, but leopard we all know is ridiculously hard to find. Alrighty, so we're gonna go over the Blowbunk airstrip shortly and then cut back towards Cuckoo and work.
Is there any space on lock with male cheetahs on Kaya?
And then loop around the other side of the block that we found that big elephant bull and see if we have no further luck locating those Ellies. Well, that's the plan, at least. Like I say, the plan might not go according to plan at all, but it's nice to have a plan.
Standing by for you.
Which road are you taking to follow up?
We've gone right around the block that we saw them in, and there's no exit point yet. So we were trying to see if we can off-road, but it's too thick here. I don't think we're going to be able to.
Is that the exact?
I think we're in the block here, but there's no visual.
We must definitely get some more radio stations. Because at the moment, the radio's only been talking about sightings on Kaya, and every time I hear one, I'm like, oh, let's go. And then I hear it's on Kaya. And then I'm like, oh, no, we can't go. So what I find oddly amazing is last night, the 2 male lions continued south up this road in front of us there. We can't go up that road because it's been closed, but they continued south towards our base camp. But now they're on the most northern side of the reserve. So that had me oddly perplexed. Sure, the mountain has vanished. The mountain no longer exists. It grew legs and ran away, folks. Sure, Basil will be able to show you quite nicely just now once we're on the airstrip itself. Shoo! Now, you'll see that there's a cloth on your screen. That's just Basil wiping the raindrops off the lens. So don't get a fright if you see a green cloth come in every now and then. Basil's just trying to make me look as good as possible. But my word, folks, it is chilly. It is very, very chilly. How you doing up there? You okay? Yo, you're doing better than I am then. I'm here like about to start shivering. Look at that mountain, everybody. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh, rhino poo. Don't want to drive over that. Could be potential dung beetles in that pile of dung. Now, there were 2 rhinos seen on the airstrip. We saw 3 rhinos here on the airstrip last night, so they probably wouldn't have moved too far because there seems to be a rhino or 2 rhino that are loving the airstrip lately towards the evenings. And it might be Lula and Kalula, our 2 newest additions. And then a lovely update for all of you. The Rietspruit Game Reserve yesterday received a rhino cow and calf, which was absolutely phenomenal. Always nice to get new additions to the reserve. Obviously, keep up that genetic diversity. Let's hope if we go this way, the rain dies down. I don't want to go that way. Alrighty. So we're slowly making our way back towards that original spot we found that bull elephant. But we're now coming around the back end to see if they haven't maybe popped in and stopped at Cuckoo. I don't think we'll have any luck finding any reptiles today. Them being cold-blooded, thermoregulation for them is quite difficult. If anything, they're going to try and find the warmest possible spot they can. I don't know where that would be, in the hollow of a tree, under a very big rock. Who knows? And the tortoises are probably hidden away in their shells. I know I would be if I was a reptile. I mean, I'm about to go into hibernation myself. This definitely won't aid me either, but I'm in dire need of some water. And cold water is probably not the wisest thing to bring with me this morning. But a man's got to do what a man's got to do. Yep, definitely a bad idea. As soon as your body temperature on the inside cools down, it gets even colder on the outside. Basil's telling me I've still got the car aircon as backup. You know, I might just have to stoop there soon. Can't seem to close this water bottle with my thick gloves on. become so immobile when you got thick gloves on.
I just rotate the combi and the money is at the Poole of South.
Sure, literally everything this morning, folks, that has been called in besides that elephant bull has been on Kaya. It's astounding. Well, who knows? Maybe we can find some giraffe, some zebra, some wildebeest. Are we going to get a gap here is the most important question. Nah. There's a lovely Impala, but she was quite thick in the bush. So let's keep going. I'm sure towards other water sources we might find some more Impala. So we're slowly headed almost southwest towards a crypt known as Cuckoo Crypt, and that's where the infamous 2-3 Cuckoo Crypt female gets her name from. When they were cubs, they were actually born around that area, hence the name Cuckoo Crypt 2-3 and her sister Cuckoo Crypt 4-3, who's now moved on to Leadwood side of the reserve. Cuckoo Crypt still roams these parts. There's a tortoise. Is it? No, it's a rock. Oh, there was a little pivot coming out of the one side of the rock that looked like a head. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Now, also something you don't really want to do after the rains is off-road. So you try your best. Like when we were off-roading a bit earlier with that elephant bull, we had gone a meter in. What I mean by off-roading is you don't want to get too deep into the block because you'll start tearing up all the mud and start destroying and eroding the soil, which is not what we want to do. And it's only because the soil and substrates are only so much softer after the rain that if you drive a heavy 2-ton Land Cruiser over, you know, we're a bit more advantaged in terms of our car's a lot lighter than a 200 kilo, a 2-ton Land Cruiser. But that being said, it still does damage. So we'll try our best not to off-road. Hopefully these elephants are in an accessible spot.
On the northern side of the Rietspruit River, and they were on the eastern side. They crossed over the eastern side.
But here is Cuckoo Crypt, everybody.
So I'm just searching the block again. There's no visual yet, and we did find the tracks going into the block, but they haven't popped out yet.
Come down to give you a hand there, the rhino crossing side.
You can, yes, that would be great.
Nothing. The Pete Mayfro calling. The red-chested cuckoo I mentioned earlier on in drive. It's got a very unique call. It goes Pete Mayfro. But it doesn't stop calling throughout the whole of summer, just on repeat. You just hear that pretty much 24/7. Even in the evenings, sometimes you will hear them. After the sun's gone down, when the owls and nocturnal critters are out, you'll still hear them going. It's absolutely mind-blowing. Now, obviously, with this cooler weather, it does also make plain game viewing a lot more difficult because the animals also feel the cold. So they also tend to move into the thicker areas. So that's probably why we're not seeing too much this morning. It's rather quiet this morning, though, in terms of all the bigger animals. Sure, those mountains are dramatic this morning. Once we get to the top, I'll stop quickly and Basil can show you how the clouds are slowly covering this mountain. It's quite wild, actually. And the rate, oh, the whole mountain's about to get swallowed by the clouds. And there's big rain coming. So hopefully, touch wood, it lasts, it holds until we are safely under shelter. Because there's one thing for me. If it's cold, a game drive can still be fun. If it's wet, it can be fun. If it's cold and wet, it's just miserable. What are you? Oh, violet-back starlings. Look at that. That's super cool. Oh, okay, of course you've just gone and done that. Once I stop here for the clouds for all of you, I'll quickly pull up my bird app and show you what the male version of that bird we just saw looks like. Absolutely mind-blowing colors. Violet, violet, violets, pinks, purples. Absolutely impressive little bird. Look at that mountain, folks. Isn't that just wicked how quick those clouds are moving? Oh, hornbill's still calling. How do I make it stop? There we go. Alrighty, everybody. This is what the male version looks like. Rather stunning bird. Look at the purples and the colors on that. Isn't that just amazing? The purples, the violets, even the iris of that eyeball, that yellow there. Incredible. Alrighty. Back to the task at hand, the elephants. Just put my glove on real quick, bear with me. Alrighty. Back on the search for the elefantes. So I used to say that just for fun, but we actually had an intern that came out here once who speaks Spanish. And she said, how did you know that's elephants in Spanish? And I was like, I didn't. I just call them elefantes for fun. Keeps things interesting. Now I wonder, did that bull cross the road and go down? What are your bet, Basil? Yes. So that's my bet. I think he's still somewhere close by. Because, I mean, he moved maybe 600 meters in total last night, so he didn't move far at all. And sometimes ellies don't really move all too often throughout night, and other nights they tend to move around the whole reserve, so I suppose it just depends on how they're feeling on a particular day. Yeah, Mr. Elephant. It was further back, eh? Was it? No, it was further up. I'm sure we'll see our tire tracks where we turned off. But surely it can't be too hard to spot a big giant grey lump. I say that, but I know how hard it can be, spotting a ginormous grey lump in the thicket of the bush. And elephants are amazing. They can be so quiet as well. Which is one of the things that always amazes me about them. Elephant be gone. I'll tell you what, let's go down into the deep sloot. There might be other critters hiding around in the riverbed there as well, just to try and get out of this cold wind. And like Basil said, maybe the elephants have followed suit. There's a Pete Mayfro calling. Oh, I see him, I think. Let's get a bit closer. I think that is him. See him, Basil? On that top branch up there in the distance. You see him? Sorry, I don't know if we're high enough for you to get it. No. Damn it. Let's find a different viewpoint, but I think I have just found us the Pete Mayfro, folks. So bear with us. I'm sure we might be able to get an even better view. Just watch your head here. There we go. How's that, Basil? Better. So Basil's going to put it. Moment of truth for us, folks. It is indeed the red-chested cuckoo. Of course, now that he's been seen, he is completely stationary. But this is a bird that doesn't stay out in the open all too often, so we're quite lucky for him to be out in the open like this. Also one of our migrant birds that's just come back. So always a pleasure. There we go. Well, that, folks, in my book, is a win. That definitely is quite phenomenal. See the wind in his tail. You can see he's actually almost acting for us as an aeroplane sock would for an aeroplane landing. You can see the winds coming from the back end blowing south. That's quite hilarious. Oh, really cool that we get to see this bird, everybody. I've been trying to put it on camera for a while now for viewers, and you can see him moving his mouth as well. That's rather fabulous. Let's listen to his call for a couple of minutes, and then we'll carry on for the Ellies. Something so calming about the call as well. Pete Mayfro, Pete Mayfro, Pete Mayfro. I don't know who came up with that rhyme, but I mean, I suppose it sticks in everyone's head. I haven't forgot the call since I heard Pete Mayfro. But it's also like if you look at your black crown shagra that goes Safiso. The actual call is like, but I mean the way I remember the call is Safiso, please. Safiso, please. Alrighty, let's leave this beautiful red-chested cuckoo. How awesome. We found him. They're not often perched in the open like that, so the fact we got him on a dead tree even was quite phenomenal. Rather exciting stuff. Let's not drive my cameraman into a raisin bush that's covered in wet raindrops. Definitely not something you want to get attacked by now with this cold wind blowing as well. So we've got rhino scrapings this side as well. Not seeing tracks there. I'm also not seeing any tracks or signs of the elephant. I'm not seeing dung anywhere. I'm not seeing tracks. Don't really hear branches breaking. But that's okay. Like I like to say, challenge accepted. Oh, bird's still going crazy, that red-chested cuckoo. There's the lovely, that call you're hearing now. Lovely call of a white-browed scrub robin hiding somewhere in the trees. Often first bird you hear when you wake up in the morning and the last you hear when you go to sleep. Is there another one calling? Sounds like there's one coming from there now. There's another one. Let's see if we can find this one. And now he's gone quiet. Typical red-chested cuckoo. All right, well, like I said, maybe going in the riverbed won't be a bad idea after all, and maybe it'll be warmer for us as well. So I definitely think it's worth a gamble. Also, in that part of the area, it's quite thick, so there's always a possibility of black rhino. They tend to love thick bush like this. Red-chested cuckoos going ballistic. I told you, they don't stop, they just keep going. So this is lemon during crop. It doesn't look like anything's been here quite recently. All right, time to drop into the riverbed, everybody. Matt said you and him have driven up here before. Yeah. But apparently you had to do a U-turn and come back or something. Okay, I'm not going to drive up there then if we have to do a U-turn and come back. Yeah, we'll go parallel with the deep sluice. Oh, lovely big herd of impalas here. Oh my gosh, it's a big herd. Tell you what I'm going to do, Basil. I'm going to inch into this corner here. And we can get them all for you. Look at the size of this impala herd, everybody. Now, as you can see, I can literally only see one dominant male ram. And he will be in this harem protecting all these pregnant females. Oh, someone wasn't happy. You heard that snort. That was an alarm call, and you saw how they all got jittery quite quickly. But you can see how large some of these bellies are, folks. Soon to give birth. Sure, the bird life this morning is crazy. I can also hear a woodland kingfisher now, a brown-hooded kingfisher as well. The woodland kingfisher being one of the migrants that's just returned. And the brown-hooded kingfisher, fortunately, is with us all year round. So it's a bird we never really get tired of seeing because he tends to stick around. And these impala are moving off, but they're going the direction I wanted to go. So we are going to follow these impala. They will probably scatter off quite quickly. They're not too friendly with the vehicles. They tend to get spooked quite easily. Yeah, there we go. Moving off rather quickly up into the thicker stuff. But wow, how is the size of that impala herd? Always love seeing big herds like that. Always a real treat, because we don't really get to see too many big herds of antelope together, or big herds of zebra and wildebeest. So we're quite privileged in that sense. I've got a friend attached to us, but I'm gonna have to remove it when we get up here. Sounds like I've already lost him there. Sure, these red-chested cuckoo folks are going berserk. Now you can imagine that call whilst you're trying to do some very important paperwork, and you hear that on repeat whilst doing this paperwork for 4 hours. You see, it can get quite annoying, the call at times. But nonetheless, a beautiful bird. We're getting close to another one. I don't know if we're going to see this one though, because it's quite thick down there. Just keep your eyes peeled at the top of trees, Basil. Typical, gone silent as you get close. Oh, there he is. He just flew away. Ah, you won't get him. Oh, that's unfortunate. Because he was a lot closer than the last one. But on the brighter side of things, we do have black rhino tracks here as well. So you never know. But I'm still not seeing any signs of the elephants. I wish I could understand what they're saying. Like, I mean, I know we know the caller is Pete Mayfro, but what actually are they saying to one another? Like, is each the same call? Like, are they saying the same thing? Is it a different language each time? Is it a different expression each time? I don't think anyone really knows. You think it's a song? What, like when one gets stuck in your head? Like me with George Michael's Careless Whisper. I'm never gonna dance again. Uh-oh, Basil's just started this. This is not good. The other day I couldn't stop singing that song. Oh, we've got a bird of prey in the sky here. Looks to be like a yellow-billed kite. Of course, moving further and further away from us. So oftentimes we tend to find the elephants here as well. And actually on a few occasions I've had the lions here. Oh, that's not very professional. Ugh. Oh, that mountain is getting oddly ominous. There's definitely rain incoming. If you look to the east of us, it's just grey. Just grey, grey, dark clouds. No one wants to be around when that hits, to be totally honest. No one. But like I said, the bush is in dire need of rain. It may not look like it now, but our dams still need quite a bit of water to be filled up. Our crypts could also do so. So our crypts are manually pumped, but at the same time, the other sources of water are completely reliant on rainfall. So we need them to get as full as possible before the next dry season, because as we know, water evaporation takes place quite quickly, especially in 45-degree heat and weather. Can be a treacherous thing as well for animals if they don't stay hydrated in the dry season. Often animals will die off from hydration or lack of nutrient-rich food. So the dry season is definitely a tough time for all the animals when water is scarce. Also, what you'll find is towards the end of the dry season, before the rains, where the watering holes have pretty much dried up completely, as well as predators will hang about. They'll almost camp out at these water holes in hopes of prey coming down to drink. And they basically camp out and wait for prey to come down, being vulnerable whilst their head's down drinking. Those predators just take full advantage and end up just, you know, they get a nice breakfast. So this was my last sort of bet where the elephants could have been. Maybe they moved further north. Sure, it's nice to see that the whole reserve now is slowly going green as well. Like this side of the world, you can see there's still quite a bit of dead bush. And by dead, I just mean leafless bush, like all of this. But not long now. Not long now, it'll all be green, vibrant, lush bush. Ah, thank you, Basil, sir. Basil's on the ball, folks. If you haven't already emailed the keyword in, you need to email the keyword who. I wonder what the image is going to be. To info@paintedog.tv, and we will send you that high-resolution print. I wonder if anyone can guess what the photo is going to be. Sure. Oops. Oh, that was quite excessively hectic for first thing in the morning. Don't get me wrong, I love off-roading and I love driving in the bush, but sometimes the bumps too early in the morning can also just be a bit uncomfortable, especially when you're not fully awake yet. Woodland kingfisher. Woodland kingfisher. In the tree here. There. Just don't want to move. That is a striped kingfisher. My apologies, folks. Is it? Sometimes they look so similar, they get so confusing, especially these guys and the brown hooded. But I'm pretty positive it's a yeah, so it's a striped kingfisher. Sure. I got excited. I really thought it was a woodland kingfisher. Oh, and there he's off. There she goes. Oh, that's nice. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this on the last drive, but just because we've just seen a kingfisher now, it's just reminded me that 90% of your kingfishers don't eat fish, believe it or not, hence the name kingfisher. Believe it or not, 90% of them oh, you good there? All right, let me go quickly so Basil doesn't get hit. Teamwork makes the dream work, folks. Never forget that. Nearly got absolutely slapped by the bushveld this morning in the face. That wouldn't have been too pleasant, to say the least. Oh. The elephants have been busy. Sorry, Basil. Just watch that one sharp there, huh? It's just, you know, the audacity of these elephants. Like, they've got perfect bush to push things over in. But it's like they make an effort to push trees over the roads, knowing that Kevin has to come do his daily gym to move the trees off the road. So maybe the elephants are just looking out for Kevin, actually. I did hear a woodland kingfisher though, so it might be worth just quickly stopping off at Mamba Dam and having a look-see there. Get out of this little rocky-ish area. Not my favorite part of the reserve, to be totally honest. It's a very pretty part of the reserve. I do prefer the north, the like fig tree forest side of the reserve is definitely my favorite though. Aha, freedom. So we're gonna come out and we're literally gonna just go straight over the road and go pop in and see what's at Mamba Dam. See if there be anything at all. I wonder if any terrapins are going to be on that bank. Normally when you drive up to Mamba Dam, all of them make a quick run for the water. Nothing today. Sure. Oh. Not even a heron. Everything's hiding to... Oh, what was that? Good spot though. Where was it? On this dead branch? Or the jackalberry. Ah. So there was a bird of prey that's just taken off. Basil's just pointed out, folks. I didn't get a good enough glimpse to see what it was. Oh, there, it's flown off again. It's not making life very easy for us. Just go through the sand quickly so we don't get stuck. Water droplets on me, it's not the dream. All right, Mr. Big Bird of Prey, where did you go? It's turned into now a hunt for a bird of prey. Oh, there. Oh my gosh, I think I know what it is. Juvenile crowned eagle. You good there? Oh. We need to get this on camera, bro. Looks like a juvenile crowned eagle. That'll be so wild. So wild. Gone. Oh, it looks like he wasn't sticking around either. Well, let's loop around. You never know. When we get to the top of this ridge, we might see him in the treetops. But it did look like a juvenile crowned eagle. So I have seen it here before. A different one once. So I don't know if there's a new crowned eagle in the area. I thought that branch sticking up at the top was it for a second. Sure, the animals don't want to play ball with Andrew today, that's for sure. Even that elephant bull was like, hello, here's my bottom. Enjoy that for you. First thing in the morning. Thank you, Mr. Elephant. You know what? At least the elephant showed himself. Everything else seems to be quite either skittish or just not convinced it wants to be on camera. And we still need to keep an eye out for another ornament for the tree, folks. Just don't know what we're gonna use per se, because there's no real flowers out at the moment yet, or things that we can use as said ornaments. So we're gonna have to get quite creative. We know already that the first ornament added to the tree was a horn. I think we said a wildebeest horn, if I'm not mistaken. So this is where we might get a look and see if he doesn't pop up. I'm just going to go in very slowly, just in case he's on a branch that's quite visible. Nope. No luck. Well, I mean, we can't say we didn't try, eh? We did try, that's for sure. Oh, wonder, I wonder. I still can't believe that those two male lions ended up on Kaya. Don't know how that happened. They must have heard vocalizing from the pride or something, because they were dead on heading in this direction towards our base camp, and then they've done a complete U-turn. So that somehow is perplexing my mind, like what caused them to do a complete 180 and go back the way they came. But they clearly didn't even go back the way they came. They marched, they probably went all the way to Boskamp, from Boskamp down to Cuckoo, from Cuckoo towards Seskant. Sure, those lions did a round last night. Also thought we'd just drive this Madrid butt, see if we can't get a glimpse of that bird of prey on this side. But no luck either. Don't know what's going on with my radio as of late.
One just got up now. There's two are still lying in the road here to Phyllis. I'll try to follow them, love it.
Aha, so they found the pride. The pride is also, believe it or not, on Kaya. So that's why the males did a giant 180-degree U-turn. That makes a lot of sense now. Like, it really does, you know. They would have heard vocalizing. They would have known that it probably wasn't the BCC lions, because they were close enough to this fence line, the southern fence line, that they would have been able to differentiate. So they knew that the ladies were on the other side of the world, so they knew they had to do a 180 and start following the sounds of the calls. Oh, I hear a red-crested cohorn. Nothing really seems too content with showing itself for us today. So I'm hoping if we go down Eastervark, we might be able to find something. Or I might even just continue along Hoofpad to that burnt section, see if there's not anything hanging around that side. I think that's probably a better idea because it's still quite thick in the block here. Was that a snake? No, just a branch. It got me the lesser spotted death snake. Well, I call them death noodles. A spotted death noodle. It was just a twig. But alas, it won't stop us from continuing our search. Sure, you can see those clouds are a lot darker down in the direction we're headed, as well as to the east of us. But like I mentioned, tracking in this sort of substrate with all this rain that's just fallen is probably like one of the hardest skills to master, because then again, you know, you can interpret a track wrong, and you know, you might be looking at, like I mistook that hyena track for a leopard track, you know. So it really is quite a difficult task to get the grabs of. But we're working on it slowly, but surely. Well, I mean, one thing that is really out in full force this morning is all the birds. Not necessarily seeing them, but hearing them. You can hear chirps coming from each direction. Alrighty, so we've arrived in the burnt section. Now we're just gonna cruise along here. There is normally a steppe buzzard along this road as well, which is another sort of bird of prey. Who knows, maybe he'll be kind enough to stick around for us. You know the one I'm talking about, eh? Okay. You can see all this new growth coming through. It's just beautiful. The contrast the bush is giving off lately, especially here while it's still, the trees are leafless and dark brown, and the new grass shoots coming through. It's just unbelievably beautiful. Words don't describe it nearly enough. It almost still kind of smells like fire. Do you smell that? It almost still smells like fire. You know, when you've sprayed a braai, put your braai out or put a fire out with a hose pipe, that wet smell of burning wood. No wood here is burning, but I think it's just the remnants of the the charcoal that would have been brought about, and all the ash being put back into the soil, which actually also helps put nutrients into the soil, makes it more fertile. This is always an added bonus. Sure. It's a ghost town on Blowbunk this morning, everybody. I mean, we were quite lucky with that huge herd of Impala we saw though. That was absolutely astounding. I wonder where all our giraffe are hiding, and all our zebra and wildebeest. There's rhino tracks again here, but I mean, estimating how fresh they are is so tough right now. Oh, there he is. Where'd he go? You see him, Basil? Huh. Even he doesn't want to show himself today.
Well, to come straight to giraffe moves, close to the, they are very close to the river, yeah, the river.
That's so unfortunate. Oh well, we just continue until we find something that wants to stick around for us. But I mean, look at that for a view, folks. That's just... that is incredible. Very quiet in terms of plains game. I wonder where they're all hiding about. They weren't in the riverbed either. That's where we found that one herd of Impala though. But I don't know where everything else is. Those clouds just keep getting thicker and thicker. Hopefully there's some big rain on the way. Like I said, the bush really does need it. Obviously just preferably while we're not out in it. What bird is that?
I hear your audio, Lovey.
What are you? Surely that's not a gorgeous breasted bushrat. There it is. I just saw him fly back here. Quite a small bird, Basil. Do you? Huh? What did it look like? Ah, I think you've just made me figure out the bird. Nope, it's not that one. It's not the gorgeous bush shark. Could it be a lesser good? Definitely not. It's not an orange-breasted. Could it be a red-backed? Nope. Huh. Not sure what it was. Let's try one more. No. Not 100% sure what that was. I have to do some digging and see if we can't go back and see that steppe buzzard. I think the new name for it is just the common buzzard. Come on, guys. Stop hiding about. Fly out into the open so Basil can put you on camera. Oh, there's an emerald spotted wood dove. Oops. Look at those green emerald spots on its back. When the sunlight hits that, oh my gosh. Really works in favor and does that bird a lot of justice. You also get a blue spotted wood dove, which are a lot more rare. All right, let's quickly head up to that green torchwood just up ahead, see if that eagle buzzard landed in the tree. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Weird hiccupy thing. Not in this torchwood, not in this torchwood, not in the big boer bean. Where did he go? Oh, where did he go? Where did he go? Nobody knows. Where did he go? Oh, African wood hoopoe. This is a really cool bird. Hopefully he sits still for us and doesn't go too far. Oh, of course, Murphy's Law, you're going to go too far. Should have landed on the floor somewhere, do you see him? Well, even he didn't want to work with us today. That was ridiculous. I mean, one of the hardest birds to find was our easiest bird to put on camera this morning. Ah, good spot, Basil. There we go. Good eye, sir. Shall we go forward into the bigger gap, or is that fine? Let me just double check the app here before I sell you lies, which is the last thing I want to do. How beautiful is that bird, though? Yeah, it's a common buzzard. Really, really awesome that we got to put him on camera for you. Oh, well, nothing really wanted to stick around today, unfortunately. But nonetheless, challenge accepted for the next drive. We've got a lot to do, a lot to still accomplish. Got to find those elephants. Oh, we've got to find an ornament. We forgot to get an ornament. I will find an ornament and add it to the tree. And then we'll do probably one big reveal at the end of this tree and all the ornaments that we collect over the few drives. But folks, from my side and Basil's side, we're going to love you and leave you. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.